I'm going to call this regular board meeting for the Adams Furniture School District to order. Has the meeting been properly noticed?
Yes, it has been.
All right. Could we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which stands one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion by Jeff, second by Joni. Any discussion? Seeing none, we will start this vote with Joni.
Yes.
Andy,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Bobby,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Priscilla.
Yes.
My vote is yes. Lena,
Yes.
passes 9-0. All right, moving on to reports. We will go right to student council report. Layla Bork.
Layla, thanks for coming in during the summer.
Yeah.
Besides working. So I sent, I believe, majority of the calendar. If I didn't, please let me know. I'll get it to you. And then I got some that want hard copies. If you email me, I will print you off a hard copy and get it delivered here. I'll deliver it myself because I just have to get access to a printer. So who knows?
Layla, if you send it to Nicole and I, we take care of it.
Yeah.
I'll send it.
Yeah, just probably any reports that you want to send, just send them to Nicole and then she'll just send them to all of us, so.
Sounds good. And so basically, we've been starting to plan homecoming, kind of getting the rough draft going so that it'll be better this year, so we can have a ground type of thing for the future student council to come, so we can have it all sorted by the time September comes, so then we can focus on the actual week rather than trying to throw the dance together really last minute. We've been working on figuring out the Lions game separated between us to help out with the Lions Club. And we decided that each of us is gonna take a day and start recruiting people. So we're gonna hope we get a bunch of people on Charlottesville because we put it out at NHS general month service hours during the summer because that's when the majority of people have time. So we should have a good amount there. We've been starting to help out the Booster Club as for the NHS to help support them in like their events and give them the volunteers they need to work it. They have a golf outing July 27th that we're helping with as well. And then we slowly just been creeping into stuff this school year about how we were gonna do like just because weeks that's just up in the air to like maybe boost more students that actually want to come to school and like participate in a sense, because we haven't had the great participation numbers that we would like, but we are going to try to rebuild that this year. So we thought just because days, if you participate, then you can get like a little ticket or raffle, and then you could get like a box of donuts or something like that. That would be easy, but people would want to do it. And we're thinking about something like that and having like prizes every month that would go towards like events like free admission to an event with like a +1 and stuff like that. So then more people want to feel like they should do it and stuff. And then during quite a few, because we have testing weeks in the high school, we're thinking about doing something for students like a donut breakfast for like the first come first serve kind of thing. So then students that get there early can get their donuts and be all set to study and everything. And then we're gonna do more teacher appreciation type stuff this year as well. And then my class has decided that we're doing a car wash first Saturday of August during the basketball fundraiser at the middle school. We are gonna do like a drive-through car wash and hope we can get some money to help us with all our class events.
I might have to experience that. Okay.
Charge him to.
We might do a rock fry as well too, so you can get a hot dog as you're getting your car washed.
Perfect.
And
Might have to have two because it might take a while.
And then I believe I will just look at my calendar because class of 27 is doing an event. Let's see what day it is. I believe it is one of the last days in August. They're having a rock fry, I believe, just to help with their funds because they're looking to have an awesome senior year just so they can live up to my grade. And we're kind of helping out them with trying to plan stuff together in a sense so then we can both kind of get out there. And we've also, I believe we're going to help the boys basketball team with their golf outing if they need help. Still on the wraps, we're trying to figure it out, but we'll probably get some volunteer in that week. And I believe the class of 27 is doing a face painting booth at the fair if any of you want to get your face painted. It'll be Kennedy Manzer painting little cat faces on you, so. But I believe that's all I got.
Thank you.
Just pushing for everything.
Thank you so much,
All
Layla.
right, thank you. All right, public comments, we
There were
have
none.
none. Moving on, 2.3, teaching and learning update.
And Heather has a link in the agenda.
Just have a couple of things for you. Also, you guys Nikki, can you just turn that?
I'm all right, I think we all have it on,
It should be linked on our computer.
so we can just look at it.
I need to see it, so.
Oh.
Let's be honest. All right, just a couple of things. We've been, as you noticed, we've been trying to honor our staff when things come up that are important to bring to not only your attention, but to the attention of our community and the public at large. And this one is sort of exciting. Unfortunately, none of these teachers could be here tonight, and almost all of them, it's because they're doing a second job or they are doing some other learning and couldn't be here tonight. So I'm gonna let Kevin explain a little of this, but this is pretty exciting.
Sure, this is about these numbers, 135 students. By duplicated, it means some students take 2 dual credit classes. So we have 135 classes that were taken by our students. That's about double of what it's been in the past. So we've always had about 50 dual credit students or classes taken. The reason it doubled was because you guys agreed to invest in some of our teachers. So Jim Vance was able to take some credits, graduate credits, and get paid. The tuition was paid for. He still had to put in the time on his own, but he does medical terminology, and we had 40 kids take that class. Marty Klisch did the same thing, got certified to teach psychology for Midstate. So instead of AP psychology this year, we offer dual credit psychology. AP psychology, we had 1 to 2 students pass the AP test every year. Dual credit psychology, every student, he said today, every student, but 2 or 3 of them, because you have to have 70% in order to get the credit. They still passed his class, but they didn't get the college credit. So every student but those 3 earned 3 college credits in psychology. And then the other one is Christine Gill, lucky enough to have a teacher with a master's degree in English. So she was able to teach dual credit English classes, senior electives, and many students took advantage of that as well. So we're saving students $57,000 in tuition if they choose to use those in their post-secondary plan. I know, like, my daughter had Start College Now classes with the statistics, for instance, and she was able to get 3 elective credits that way. This dual credit really costs us nothing because we're running the classes anyway. In addition to the 135 college credits through dual credit, we also have about, I think, 150 or more credits taken through Start College Now, which we pay Midstate for the tuition, and our kids take Midstate classes at Midstate or other schools. So we have several students preparing for that next level, and this is just an option to let a kid dabble in a college class without the pressure of having to pass that final exam, which some kids will put in the time, some kids don't have the time. Some also, I worry about having to pass one test to get credit for all the work that you've done for that year, but they're getting college experiences and preparing themselves better for their future.
Thank you. Any questions about that? The next thing we're going to share is an update on the goals from this past school year for the middle school and high school. Roxy and I shared that information for the elementary school at our last meeting, so tonight we're sharing the middle and high school. And then hopefully next month we'll be able to share all the forward data and other results once that is not embargoed any longer. So we're going to start with Chris.
this is our goal that we had presented at the beginning of the year. We, at the middle school, break it up into two different, the high school does as well with two different things. We do a school conditions or an SEL goal, as well as an achievement goal. So it's about a follow-up. So real simply, for our school conditions goal, past years we've done like a measuring student belonging, those types of things. This year the team decided, rather than trying to measure using all these different data sources, they wanted to focus on service learning projects. Excuse me, because we have, as you've heard, the last couple of years have implemented a school family group where we intermix all the kids grade 5 to 8 and have different family building activities. And that's been a very positive hit, so they wanted to tie that into those service learning projects. So it simply was, we'll complete 4 service learning projects as family groups throughout the year. Because those are, for the entire school, can be a lot, right? And then in our achievement goal for academics, 5% increase in achievement in reading and an 8% increase in achievement in math were our goals. So we go through a process called 5 Whys. We look at lots of data. We try to drill down to root cause and understand what are those root cause and all these different pieces of data to build our goals. We do that in August, and we'll do it again in a few weeks. So that's what our goal was, and it was based off of the year before we had a 13% increase and a 10% increase as a goals. We didn't quite get there, so we wanted to try to make it a little bit more attainable yet still rigorous. So then, did we meet our goals? So the first one, that service learning project, those are the 4 that we put into play. Number 1 was that honor flight card. So yeah, as far as celebrating our veterans in our district, the high school does a great Veterans Day program. The elementary does Memorial Day. So we, over the years, have kind of like been in that little limbo of not having something real solid. So the idea came about of let's make our project the honor flight card. So all of our kids and family group cards that were delivered to the veterans that were going on the honor flight to Washington, D.C. So that was a real positive one. We really liked that one. The project 2 around the Christmas times, we did some Christmas items for the community. This project 3 was a school community Easter egg hunt, little community where it was within our school community. They did some Easter egg things. And then the project 4 is a real big one where each of those school families had projects that they decided to go out of the community. Some did sidewalk painting, some did things at Villa Pines, some bagged groceries. So that was a lot of different things happening out in the community that day. So that was a real positive. So we really met that goal, and that was a big positive for the middle school. And then what I did is I took the academic data and I wanted to put it in a longitudinal visual for us, and just know we're 21, 22, that's that first year that we started using STAR. So the bottom in that highlighted bright yellow is this year. So our increase in reading achievement from fall to spring is 0.4%. It was very minimal. Well, I put that, excuse me, I have spring listed twice, the middle is the winter. And Mr. Moore and I were just talking a second ago of that winter really shot way up and the spring went down. So we put that in just to talk about it because we're not sure that the end is really indicative of what our kids can do. That middle part is there. It still wasn't as much for our reading. Our reading was definitely lower than we expected this year. And then our math was 3.2%, but as you can see, there was a little bit more growth in that winter portion. But I just wanted to make sure I point out is as we go along, we see that we're continually have positive increases in what that achievement is at the end of the year. And then we just have the graphs that show that in a nice visual format. And what you'll see is over time, you'll see that we end higher, and then our drop down into fall is where it gets us. You've heard that for years, right? So this is reading. And here is our math. It's more evident in math where that dip down. So it's like we have to start back over again in a lot of sets. Yes, they do. The green is advanced. The blue is proficient. The yellow is basic, and then the red is below basic. Thank you. So that we look at those when we set those goals. It's based on those blue and green numbers in those sections. But one thing we also know is we watch it how we try to shift those kids out of red. So one note I made it is it seems like it goes up and down. So we have more in the fall, and then in the spring that red shrinks again, and then we come back to it in the fall. Questions for the middle school?
And similarly at the high school, before I get into this, I just want to go back. I don't want to feel like I didn't also acknowledge the other dual credit teachers we have from that previous list. Just so you're aware, Chris DeZinda teaches our childcare classes. So we have 2 dual credit classes in childcare. Daryl Bergen teaches dual credit welding. So we're getting kids welding credit to take on the next level or into the job force. Becky Gabarski teaches several dual credit agriculture classes that just depend on, we probably offer them every other year just based on the number of students that take them, but there's plenty to do, and I'm missing one.
John?
Advanced construction, so construction class. So all those teachers have been doing it for years, are very good at it, and have to be able to teach a dual credit class in a core area. You have to have 18 graduate credits in the content. To do it in a technical education area or career-based area, typically your experience as a teacher will allow you to teach it. So but it's not just that easy that they just have to teach it. They have to collaborate with a mid-state teacher and take on that curriculum. So I just want to point that out too. So going back to the data then and the goals. We had a goal for academics as well, math and reading, similar to the middle school. We wanted to have the students in the advanced and proficient grow by 5%. So in both math and reading. And in those 2 areas in math, we grew 2.3 percentiles, so 2.3 of the students moved up into that green and blue area, and then in reading, 2.8%. And like the middle school, which is why Chris and I were talking about it, our winter scores were much higher. We weren't at 5%, but we were in the 4s, 3s and 4s. So we see that dip to the spring. We talked about it, we had a meeting with CISA 6 about data, and we talked about testing cultures, things we can do at a building level or district level to help kids take it more seriously so we can get the most accurate data. But from fall to spring, we did have those increases as well. With our SEL, social emotional learning, and academic and career planning goal, we wanted 100% of our students on our DOT survey, which has them show their connections to teachers. They pick teachers that they have a connection to. I think they get asked if you had to go to a teacher, who do you feel comfortable going to? And we had 95%, which is a little bit higher than in the past, but of the about 15 to 18 students that didn't have an adult to go to, most of those were freshmen. 13 or 14 of them were freshmen. So we look at that data with our student services team, and then we try to let the advisors know, hey, this student doesn't have a connection. So work really hard to see what we can do. Don't just say, hey, you don't have a connection, let's build this connection, but try to make a connection with that student, make sure they have at least one go-to person in the building. We hope they have several, which is good. And all staff, this includes admin, support staff, custodial staff, they're all listed by picture, so students can go through and pick the teachers that they have a connection to. And then we also wanted 100% of our seniors to have an articulated post-secondary plan, whether it be I'm going to college and here's what my plan is, or tech school, or I'm going into the workforce. And for all the students that attend, so we have some chronically absent students that's hard to have the meeting, but all students meet with their counselors as seniors. And we got this done even with our Miss Hynotsky was out on maternity leave at the end, so she knew she was going to be out, and she worked ahead to make sure she had that articulated plan of what students, whether they were going into career force or post-secondary plan, and then any notes that we needed in helping the students achieve. And then with our academic data, here's our trend from when we first started using STAR in 21, 22.
21, 22, yeah.
All the way to the spring of this year. So again, same similar trends to the middle school. We want to see that red going down, which we do, the yellow's going down, and more jumping into that blue and green, which is the advanced and then the proficient level. And this one is for reading and math. We see the same trend. So Our teachers are doing a great job of working with our students. As a district, as we've implemented IE and intervention periods, we hope to see this continuing this way and showing great growth, which we've always had as a good growth as a district, but we're seeing this level, this measures achievement. So we're seeing that achievement growth as well. Any questions for the high school data?
See none.
Okay, I think Tom and Chuck have seen what's
Yeah, I'm gonna talk to Sid. Let's see.
So Tom's gonna be talking to you about a process that our administrative team is going through to think more clearly and closely about our goals. And one of the things that you'll notice from this data is, we're not quite reaching the goals that we're setting forward, and yet we're making progress. And so he'll talk a little bit more about how that connects to the work that we're doing as an entire district rather than just by building. And so as you listen to that, think about some of this data that you saw tonight as well. Other questions? Yes.
Thank you.
Great, thanks.
2.4, business manager report.
I don't necessarily have a report, I just want, the very early preliminary information came out for our equalization aid. Unfortunately, it's not favorable for us. We are decreasing our aid that we are receiving, $727,000 less.
From last year to projected for next year.
So there is a longitudinal, again, it's very early on, hence the preliminary
data.
But it is, if you look at just overall, so we're at about 4.1 million, and 3 years ago, we were over 6 million. So, unfortunately, when we continue to have these conversations of things are getting more expensive, increased cost, inflation, yet our aid that we're receiving continues in the same pattern.
May I?
Go ahead.
So what that means is that we aren't losing money. There's two sides to the state funding formula. There's the revenue limit side, and what Nikki is talking about is the equalized aid side. So the revenue limit side, and you've heard me talk about this before, the revenue limits came into play during the 1993-1994 school year. The state at that time took what districts were spending in 92-93 and developed a revenue limit. From 93-94 until 2010, the revenue limits, and they're all different for school districts across the state of Wisconsin. We're at the floor, we're at the bottom. And there are districts, and I've shared this with board members, there are districts that receive over $20,000 per child, a couple that receive over $20,000 per child. We're at $11,325. So that's the revenue limit. What Nikki's talking about is the equalized aid side of the funding formula. And the equalized aid side is the mix between shared sources and local property taxes to get to the revenue limit. And what's happening in our district is because our property values are increasing twice the rate of state property values, in the educational funding formula, we have a lot of property value behind each student we serve. So the state says we must be a rich school district. So what's happening is because our property values are increasing rapidly, we're relying more and more on local property taxes and less on shared sources to reach the revenue limit. So, yep.
As this is our math, so as the more we get for property, the less we get from state aid. So in their, again, preliminary, last year we were at about $2.2 billion in regards to the district equalized aid value. This year it's projected to be $2.5 billion. So again, the property values continue to increase. They feel like we don't need as much support
From state.
and so then we get less state aid.
even though we're one of the 10th poorest student population districts in the state of Wisconsin by the percentage wise, based on the percentage of our students that are economically disadvantaged, which means in educational lingo, they qualify for free or reduced price lunch. We look extremely wealthy in the state funding formula. So the average student in the state of Wisconsin had about $975,000 last year, $975,000 worth of property value behind them. Last year, we had about $1.5 million. Is that accurate?
Well, according to what, yes, 1.5 roughly.
Okay.
This year they're anticipating closer to a 1.7.
So the state average was $975,000 per child. We had $1.5 million behind every child. And Nikki I didn't even know that until right now. So again, we continue to look more and more wealthy in the antiquated state funding formula, which is really antiquated, and have to rely more on local property taxes and receive less from the state to get to that $11,325 revenue limit. It's insane. It's inequitable. It needs revision badly.
And we begged them.
Yes.
We were in Madison and begged them.
It's criminal, in my opinion. So anyway, I'm sorry I went on that lecture, but I believe it's important that the board and public understand this funding formula. Makes no sense. It made sense from about 93, 94 through 2010. And between those years, we got inflationary increases. Since 2010, school districts have gotten way less than inflationary increases. And the latest estimate from Nikki's professional organization, the Wisconsin Association of School Business Officials, as we enter next school year, we're $3,500 behind inflation per student. For us, that's over $5 million a year. Way more than our operational referendum. And it's very difficult to get calls back from our elected officials when I'd like to talk to them about this. And I apologize if I'm lecturing.
So that's a wonderful update. I always. Great news.
Right.
So that's where we're at. Again, it's very early on in the budget cycle, and so I'll continue to give you more information as we progress and towards the annual meeting. But that's what we have so far.
I apologize. It sends me over the edge.
You should invite Senator Teston and Representative Krug to our annual budget meeting.
I will invite them tomorrow.
We've actually had conversations about that, maybe trying to get them to just come to regular board meetings at different times, but,
Or fair.
yep, get them to the fair, right?
Usually comes to fair.
All right, anything else? No, all right. Moving on, Board of Education reports. Joni?
On Friday, I went to a learning symposium over in Stevens Point that, Wendy hosted, and it was really interesting. I went to they had Joe Leash from Boston over there talking about the 3 different referendums, and he went right through them, talking about what they did the first one, what they did the second, and what they did differently on the third one. And then they also had somebody from the community that served on their committee speaking. He probably did about half the hour that he was there. Michelle Johnson was also there talking about social media itself, small town, you know, how hard it is to get the word out there. You want to do something, don't have a newspaper, maybe you don't have a radio station, you know, and the good ways to do that. So it was really, really a good program to go to. So.
Jeff?
I just wanted to say, you know, the general public doesn't realize as board members of what we do kind of behind the scenes. Like Joni went to, you know, a continuing education that's sponsored by Wisconsin Association of School Board, which we are a member of. We had 2 meetings, thanks to our board president, thank you. We give you a hard time about the extra meetings, but we do appreciate making us better board members. And that's, I think, the goal of this board in participating in the educational opportunities that are presented by Wisconsin Association of School Boards, whether it's going to the state convention, sitting on a state committee, going to their occasional CEs. They have a noon hour on Fridays that you can participate. There's a lot of opportunities for us as board members to educate ourselves about the issues, but also to educate our fellow board members and make us at a higher operating caliber. But people need to know that. And the reason being, I was at a meeting once and some lady goes, and she worked for the school district. She goes, oh yeah, it's easy to be a school board member. You only go to 1 board meeting a month. I don't know anybody in this room sitting around this table that only goes to 1 meeting a month. So that being said, we try to improve ourselves every day.
Just one more thing, just added on to Jeff, is these are good learning experiences, and one of the other things it is, they went through the budget, you know, and how the pros and cons and everything, and how it would affect, you know, the school districts of Wisconsin. So, I mean, you get ideas, you can share them with other people, you know, so.
Any board members on this side? All right, I just want to thank everybody for your 2 days that you sacrificed to come in 3 hours or 2.5 hours, whatever we stayed here. But I mean, we had good conversation and I felt, you know, we get to know each other a little bit more.
Yes, we sure did.
So thank you. All right, moving on.
Just a minute.
Oh, Steve.
Oh, I just have a question going back to the representatives. Can we get Alex Dahlman and anybody else on that list? Because I think we may now have 5 representatives.
We have a lot.
For Adams County.
Some are just a sliver.
Right.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying that we should give them the opportunity to.
I will invite all of them tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. 2.6, District Administrator Report.
I'm going to talk just very briefly, because we're going to revisit these things, about the work that the school board did with the Wisconsin Association of School Boards. Mrs. Stinsky does a great job. She's been here before. Some of you have seen her before. It's good to have her or another representative of that organization come in and talk about developing norms and setting goals. And then our administrative team was able to attend a 3-day workshop that was put on in Wisconsin Dells by the AFASD, which is the Association of Wisconsin School Administrators, where we did a lot of the same things. We set norms and expectations. We called them, as an administrative team, trust accelerators. I shared that sheet with the board as you were talking about that with the WASB representative. And we came up with a goal around literacy that we hope to share with the board next month and talk a little bit more in depth about that. We need to talk about it as our team a little bit more first. So anyone else like to share any additional information about our experience at SAIL? Don't all jump up.
Caught him off guard.
It was cold.
Very cool.
But again,
Really productive. I think I would say what we did was incredible.
I agree. And the same with the board training. The SAIL was really 3 full days, 2.5 full days. The board training was a couple evenings, but again, great work, and thank you for everyone for committing the time to that. So thank you.
What I was gonna say was, the one thing that I pointed out to our group was the vulnerability that it took for us to go there and hash some things out, and it just spoke volumes to the professionals that I think that our group is. Because we don't always agree on everything, go figure, right? But so it was really good for us to hear all sides of some of our conversations and be really open and honest about some things.
All right, thank you, Chris.
Thank you. All right, moving on. Do I have a consideration to go into closed session? Consideration to go into closed session? Consideration to go into closed, seeing none? move on. Do I have a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
Move to approve the consent agenda. I'll second that.
A motion by Mandy, second by Bobby. On the consent agenda, we have the bills. We have meeting minutes from our June 9th regular board meeting. We have 2 resignations, Jonas Gleiss and Brianna Stark. There are no staffing changes. We have some hiring recommendations of Aaron Clemston, and that's the only one.
Aaron Clementson.
And that is a social worker. And then we have approve our fall co-curricular coaches. Discussion. Seeing none, we will start this vote with Mandy.
Yes.
Jeff.
Yes.
Laura.
Yes.
Bobby.
Yes.
Steve.
Yes.
Priscilla.
Yes.
My vote is yes. Lena.
Yes.
And Joni.
Yes.
Passes 9-0. All right, moving on to new business. 5.1, consideration and action on 2005, 2006 wages and salaries.
We just have a few corrections to make from the salary schedule. These are people that it was incorrectly calculated in the information that we gave you.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion by Jeff, second by Mandy. Discussion. And the motion is to approve the 2025, 2026 salary and wages and salary contracts. All right, seeing no discussion, we will start this vote with Jeff.
Yes.
Laura.
Yes.
Bobby.
Yes.
Steve.
Yes.
Priscilla.
Yes.
My vote is yes. Lena.
Yes.
Joni.
Yes.
And Mandy.
Yes.
Passes 9-0. All right, 5.2, consideration and action to approve the 2025, 2026 student academic standards.
And this is something that we ask you to do annually at this time. Our district tries to align, aligns our curriculum with the Wisconsin academic standards. There's a link in your packet to those standards. And if you go to the bottom of that link, you see that there are standards across many content areas. Some we don't have. For example, dance is not a part of our curriculum, theater, some of those other things. But for the areas that we do utilize, we utilize the Wisconsin academic standards.
Move to approve the DPI student academic standards for the 25-26 school year. I'll second that.
All right, I got a motion by Mandy, second by Bobby. Motion to approve the DPI student academic standards for the 2025, 2026 school year. Discussion. Seeing none, we will start this vote. Laura.
Yes.
Bobby.
Yes.
Steve.
Yes.
Priscilla.
Yes.
My vote is yes. Lena.
Yes.
Joni.
Yes.
Mandy.
Yes.
Jeff.
Yes.
Passes 9-0. All right, 5.3, consideration and action to adopt a resolution that grants authority to a hearing officer for pupil expulsions in the 2025-2026 school year.
And again, we ask you to approve this annually. There are some districts in the state of Wisconsin that do this without a hearing officer or an attorney. I do not recommend that. This provides you some liability protection. And again, this is something we ask at this time on an annual basis.
Move to approve.
Second it.
I have motion by Jeff, second by Laura. Do I have discussion? Seeing none, we will start this vote with Bobby.
Yes.
Steve.
Yes.
Priscilla.
Yes.
My vote is yes. Lena.
Yes.
Joni.
Yes.
Andy,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
passes 9-0. All right, 5.4, consideration and action to approve the 2025-2026 student handbooks.
And Crystal's going to talk a little bit about this. And last year, we moved to using Neola. And we're going to probably recommend that for our staff handbooks next year as well. They make the updates for us. They're all legally current then. So please.
Yeah, there are a few adjustments in here that you're going to see in red. I will walk through them with you. But the biggest thing to know is that there is a caveat in this handbook that states whenever you approve a new policy, we would go off the approval of the new policy regardless of what it reads in the handbook. So there are a couple policies I have highlighted in here because I know you are reviewing them right now, but they haven't changed as of yet until you finish that process. So they are highlighted. The other thing I'm going to tell you is that I neglected to ask Nicole for a live link and she downloaded my document. The only thing I had not finished was the update of the board members, so that has been corrected, but it's not correct in the document that you received. One of the first things you will notice on page 7, there's a small change. It says or group of students. That is something Neola is recommending for any bullying and harassment. It's not just to an individual student, it could also be to a group of students. Additionally, like this here. You will see that there is a section where I had highlighted board policy 5330 on page 20. Again, that's another one that is in review right now that will potentially come with some changes pending your approval. So that is highlighted in this document so that I can make the adjustments according to board approval. You also note on page 24, you're going to see, and I skipped one here, I apologize for that. On page 23, there is academics section. Neola is recommending that we add a non-discrimination under academics. This is stating that regardless of race, creed, religious beliefs, sexual orientation, you have a right to take whatever classes we offer in our district. And then additionally, they recommended the sincerely held religious beliefs, which is in alignment with board policy 2270 and 2240, so that it is stated for our parents that they have a right for written request for removal from classes.
So the solid red means that you've added that.
It is added. If it's struck out, it's being removed and something's put in its place. Again, I have policy 5330 later in here that has some changes potentially coming to it. On page 44, you're going to see that they asked for the student due process rights, that we spell out which policies those are for suspension and expulsion. So I added in board policy 5610 under both of those sections here. I will let the building principal speak to any changes that they specifically added, but these are the board policy updates from me to the full district.
I had one addition on school dances on page 49. We didn't have anything in regarding dances. Prior to that, we just used a dance guest form and then let the individual groups that are running the dances determine some of the rules. So I wanted to make sure we had some language in the handbook regarding school dances.
That's the most substantive, yeah.
Yeah, and then
Sunglasses.
I had an issue with sunglasses and students that wanted to wear them in classrooms and were needed, so this would allow it if a physician required it, but otherwise sunglasses are not needed in our building.
What if you want to look really cool?
I don't know the page number, the only big thing, we did clarify up above backpacks, I added a little caveat because they, at the high school, allow clear backpack, and it's still written that way, I don't know if you guys don't follow that. We don't allow any backpacks, just in the discretion of somebody that needs a backpack for a certain reason. We'll do that, it's few and far between for us. But I just want to clarify that language for families. And then the only other thing that's probably of note is we struck out a few things that we don't do anymore, like our CTE classes are coming to us again. We're not going to the high school. It was a language just for families to know that was happening. And then the other big thing is that we're going to embark on the endeavor of banning energy drinks in our building, because they're not healthy, but they're really getting out of hand. I don't know if you're all aware that the amount of caffeine keeps compounding in all of these companies, and kids are too worried about energy drinks in their classrooms. So we just decided that we're gonna just cut it out, and so we just made sure to layer that language in. Even though some were really doing that in their classrooms, it's easier sometimes for us to help the teachers out just by putting it in the student handbook language.
And for the elementary school, we just added that new promotion policy that you. Any questions?
Oh, I didn't know, so I'm sorry. Personal communications devices. In the top part, we have a box where our cell phone policies are listed. We added smartwatches, not that we're banning smartwatches, but we put it on the list because what we're finding out is that with our policy that's long-standing, right, we're way ahead of the curve in the state of Wisconsin, or policy where the cell phones are locked up. Kids are now communicating with people on their watches. So we're putting it on there, just kind of keep mindful, and when I put communication out to families, I'm gonna make sure to emphasize that. So hopefully we can start curbing that down a little bit.
Any questions?
Anything, board? Do I have a motion?
Crystal, thank you for your leadership.
Thank you.
on this.
All right, got a motion by Lena. Do I have a second?
Joni?
Joni? Okay, sorry. Got a motion by Lena, second by Joni. Motion to approve the 2025-2026 student handbook as presented to the board. Discussion. Seeing none, we will start this vote with Steve.
Yes.
Priscilla?
Yes.
My vote is yes. Lena?
Yes.
Joni?
Yes.
Mandy?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Bobby?
Yes.
Passes 9-0. All right, 5.4, consideration and action to approve the 2025-2026 support staff handbook.
And we can walk through this as well. A similar process, red are additions, and then you'll see strikeouts will also be in red in the handbooks. And if we walk through the support staff handbook, the changes, it really aligns almost identically with the professional staff handbook as well. And then the other caveat, and I mentioned this, is we will recommend that we utilize Neola's support in professional staff handbook, just because they do the updates and they're aligned with case law and statutory law as well. So you'll see on the first page of the support staff handbook, we've changed some language. It really doesn't change the substance of the content. We've removed some language on the bottom of page 3. I'm going to use page numbers rather than the Google numbers. Got rid of an extraneous word on page 4. The district compliance officer's language has changed. So you'll see changes on page 5. We did add a false information section at the bottom of page 5 because of issues that we've had. Conflict of interest language has changed, but really doesn't change the substance on the top of page 6. Some wording changes on page 7. We did change the vacation language. We should have no one that's on page 9, I believe, 10. We don't have anyone that's going to receive 30 days of vacation anymore. We've kind of phased that out over time. We added at the bottom of page 11 that we are offering both professional and support staff individuals an incentive for not taking our health insurance. That's been beneficial for both individuals and our district. We did change some language regarding unused reimbursable leave payout upon retirement at age 55 or older, or disability retirement as verified by a physician. The employee or their heir in case of death will be eligible for a the payout. Staff members must have 10 years of continual service to the district to be eligible for accumulated reimbursable leave payout. This will be provided to the staff member as a lump sum payment upon retirement. You'll see his and her, we're using their, some wording changes. We got rid of, there's some substantive changes on page 14 regarding reimbursable leave, as we've changed from traditional sick time to reimbursable leave. We've had to change that language, so this more accurately reflects what we're doing in practice with our staff members. There's some timelines on this. You guys have approved that a few years ago. There's an overview in there in a table format. I believe Nikki helped and Nicole helped create that, which is helpful for our staff persons. We just clarified unpaid leave of absence on the top of page 18, that you have to utilize reimbursable leave must be exhausted before requesting unpaid leave, just to clarify that, so we didn't have staff persons requesting to be unpaid for days and not use their reimbursable leave. Bottom of page 20, we've just clarified mileage for expense reimbursement starts at the district office or your home, which is ever closer to the location of your destination.
Excuse me, is 18 a correction? Page 18, the bottom? I'm just assuming that's a correction.
I'm sorry, I'm going back.
It's just to go the same.
57 to.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was just a correction. Okay.
Yeah, it's just to reflect what happens in real life. It's actually 55 and a half, 55 and 6 months of age to collect retirement in the state retirement system. So those are the recommended changes in the support staff handbook.
Move to approve.
Second.
Is that Priscilla? Okay. Got a motion by Jeff, second by Priscilla. Motion is to approve the 2025-2026 support staff handbook as presented to the board. Discussion.
Where it says family weddings and emergency leave, does that mean 5 additional days, or does that mean that those 5 days can be used consecutively?
Consecutively. Not like you get more than your 12 reimbursable, just that you don't have to have, you can have them 5 days regardless of how.
Okay.
And then with the bereavement, it doesn't say that it covers anything, it just says to go to the district administrator to be approved for that. We don't have any guidelines on that, so if somebody's using the 3 days that they're given, is that just one time a year, 3 days, or that's as many times?
As many times as necessary.
But that's usually the immediate family? Is this friends?
It's immediate family members.
Okay, but it's not,
Or isn't it?
it's not.
Define it.
We don't define it.
No,
We had a big
no, it's not.
discussion.
Yeah, we had a big discussion on this before, and.
So it was defined and we removed it last year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jeff wanted to make sure there wasn't a dog that was.
I remember the conversation.
I did say that.
Basically, you're allowing me to use my best discretion. And I will tell you, in those circumstances, I don't feel we've had an employee that's abused the situation whatsoever.
Thanks for that reminder.
Anything else, board? All right, we will start this vote with Priscilla.
Yes.
My vote is yes. Lena?
Yes.
Joni?
Yes. Yes.
Mandy?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Bobby?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
All right, passes 9-2. 5.6, consideration and action to approve the 2025-2026 professional staff handbook.
The handbooks, 98% of the handbooks mirror themselves, but I'm going to point out a few things in the professional staff handbook. On the top of page 6, we define district expectations for our professional employees. I'm not going to repeat things that we've already discussed. PI 34 for our professional staff is still the evaluation process that we utilize. And we're creating our administrative team have worked to create a tool that you can use on your phone or an iPad to do, to help facilitate doing walkthrough observations. So that should be helpful. Health insurance, the in lieu of payment, same thing. Leave of absence, you'll see the same changes on that section from pages 15 through 18. Mileage reimbursement change. It's basically the changes they mirror each other. We've made some changes to the activities co-curricular stipend. You'll see at the very end of this.
All right, what would the board like to do?
Yeah, but just my clear hand. Page 7, what is, maybe I should put my glasses on, I think that would help. District administrator or designee, a district business manager or designee, and they're crossed out.
I'm gonna have to get to it. Oh, the compliance officer process has changed, so that was in the student handbooks as well. Related to like Title IX investigations. So we have 2 compliance officers, and we used to identify them by name, now we identify them by position.
Okay.
And this is a recommended procedure.
Makes sense.
Okay.
It makes sense to not have the district administrator do that, because if something gets elevated to a legal case, usually that person is kind of the last stop before it goes someplace else. So to have them involved in the initial investigation is not really appropriate.
So is the investigator someone from the outside?
No, it's our,
Heather, it's Director of Student Services and Director of Curriculum and Instruction. They've done some training regarding investigations. It's just very typical in what school districts do. We used to actually name them, but then if someone left the district,
You have to update the.
so it's just easier to name the position rather than the individual.
Okay.
And the same thing was included in the support staff handbook as well.
What is the difference between, and I don't know how to word this, but the wrestling girls head coach has got 11% number and the boys has got a 475. Is there a reason for that? It's not.
Is it, I'm looking.
Hold on a second.
Do you know what page it's on, Steve?
I'm looking. 29.
Thank you.
That's a misprint. All of our head coaches should be 11%.
Yep, that is a misprint. Good cut, good catch. It's, wrestling boys head coach is incorrect. All right, so they should both be 11%.
Okay, thank you.
No, good, that's a great catch, thank you.
Board, what would you like to do?
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion by Jeff, second by Lena. Motion is to approve the 2025-2026 Professional Staff Handbook as presented to the board. Discussion. Seeing none, I'll start the vote with me. I'll say yes. Lena?
Yes.
Joni?
Yes.
Mandy?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Bobby?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Priscilla?
Yes.
Passes 9-0. All right, we have come to the end of the agenda. Any objection to adjournment?
Make a motion to adjourn.
We are adjourned at 8 o'clock. Thank you.
I want to acknowledge Nikki and Nicole, who did a lot of work on the handbook. Support staff and professional handbooks as well.